Talk a little bit about Louisville and how practice has been since Penn State, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Great opportunity for our team to play another really good team Saturday. We've been in the midst of a pretty tough grind here with non-conference and then mixing in conference play. So the games have obviously been very, very intense, and we've had to, find a way, in a couple of them to make some plays to win. And Louisville's a really good team. Chris has done a great job taking over. You can really tell the identity over the last 3-4 games, how they've improved with the competition level they went at. They're playing very confident right now. They're a physical, offensive team inside that does a great job with their pace and execution. And defensively, you can tell they're getting better. They play hard, play a lot of guys. And to me, this is going to be a game, and coming back in March, that both teams will look at and say that was a heck of an opportunity for us to get play quality non-conference game. And for us, we're excited. We've worked hard in practice. We're trying to get better in a lot of different areas as we normally do. And we have a pretty good balance about us right now.
Okay. First question for Coach. Andy?
Since Chris coached with your brother at Xavier, when did you first get to know Chris, and how would you describe his approach to coaching?
Well, I've got to know Chris over the years. He was at Wake Forest with Skip Ross there while I was at NC State, and those guys do a tremendous job. Really respected him, and then as he got intertwined with my brother Sean at Xavier in their time there, they had unprecedented success. He had a lot to do with that, not only recruiting but coaching. And then as he took over Xavier, we were in the Atlantic 10 together for a brief time, and they moved to the Big East. And Chris has put his mark on, his own mark on things. He has a very, very great offensive mind. Their execution, the way they get guys shots, the way that they play, is very, 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 very sharp. And defensively, I think they've stayed with sort of that man-to-man pack line principles that we all sort of coached in. And clearly, as he's inherited Louisville, he's trying to, again, put his stamp on it. But he's a fantastic coach. He's done a great job everywhere he's been. Got a lot of respect for him, and got a lot of respect for their staff. They do a really good job.
What's going to be different about Louisville's identity this year as compared to kind of previous coaching staffs?
Well, I think over, obviously a 15, 16-year period of time under Coach Pitino, the size and the pressing and the matchup zones and some of the things that they were known for will now change. Chris is bringing more of a man-to-man defensive principles to the table. And then offensively, they're a lot different just in terms of the philosophy. It's a more 4-round-1 look. And Chris does a great job. He's probably as good as any coach in the country in terms of being able to get their bigs the ball for buckets. Not just catches, but actual, throw it to them and he get baskets. So it's a big concern for us coming into this game is defending the post, and obviously, defending them in transition. They do a really good job. Jordan Wara, he's kind of mimicked him, off of some of the guys they've had on his previous teams where he can move him around a lot and run offense through him, and he's off to a great start. But I like their team. They're hard playing right now. They're very unselfish, and I think they're going to have a great season.
When you see a big team like this, do you think, well, this might be a better game for you to use Deron Davis a little bit more? He's had success last year against Louisville.
Yeah, Deron's a big part of what we're doing. He's getting better. He's getting in better shape. He's practicing more consistently right now. I think he feels better about himself. He's starting to get through some of the hard body aches and whatnot. Foul trouble limited him a little bit this past Tuesday at Penn State. He got himself a couple quick ones and never really got into the flow of the game. But we're going to need Deron. I talked to him yesterday. We're going to really need his presence on both ends of the floor. We need his size on both ends of the floor. And, Deron continues to be an important cog as we continue to develop.
Defensively with you guys, I think you've held all but one opponent under a point per possession. I guess where are you maybe a month into the season defensively? Are you on the track maybe you want to see you guys a month in, or where's the next step defensively for yourselves?
Well, just getting cleaner with our system, making less mistakes, off the ball, continuing to get our young guys more experience against different types of offenses which they haven't seen before. So, as we continue to evolve, getting cleaner with our with our rules and principles where we don't have to explain everything or scout everything that we do. It's kind of a habit. So we're not that sophisticated yet, I don't think, as a group, as a unit with our system, which takes time. You need more time to keep going. Our base stuff is better than it's been a year ago at this time. If you look at our numbers a year ago at this time through about the same amount of games, it's a drastic difference just in terms of the ability to defend for longer stretches, be more organized in the half court, have positioning more, and we're better there. So we still have a long way to go, though. I mean, I think as teams develop offensively, they develop defensively too. We have to continue to grow. We have to continue to be better on the ball. At times we're not as good as we need to be on the ball. A lot of that's due to just sometimes there's young guys on the floor, or sometimes there's guys coming in off injury that aren't just like Zach. A guy like Zach right now doesn't have quite his feet under him like you've seen him in the past. So he's working back to get his game repetitions back as well. But we're able to play more guys, I think. We're able to have a little deeper team where we can play harder for stretches. So not that you're ever satisfied or you're pleased with anything. I think we can always have room to grow. But from a defensive standpoint, I think, as of right now, we're doing okay. We have to become a better rebounding team. We have to do it more by committee. Right now, we're not blocking out as well as we need to. That's a big thing. We're fouling a little bit unnecessarily off the ball with reaching and slapping. That's something that can get cleaned up. But just in general, I think we're ahead of where we were a year ago, if you ask me.
Okay, student Dustin.
It seems like Al's been one of your most consistent players to this point in the season. Just how valuable have his contributions been to this point?
Al's been good. He's been good. We're working hard on both ends of the floor. He gives us an added weapon, three-point shooter. He's shooting the ball really well. He's an attacking guy off the bounce, can make plays. Need him to be on the floor more defensively where he's not, getting beat or reaching or fouling. He had a couple unnecessary ones, I think, last weekend against Northwestern that limited his minutes. But he's a big piece. He can play both guard spots for us. He can defend both guard spots for us. He knows what he's doing. He's our best communicator. He's one of our loudest talkers. So he's a very valuable part of what we're doing.
Justin.
I actually wanted to ask more about Al as well, I guess, just to play off of that. I mean, where have you seen him evolve from a year ago? He obviously wanted to change a lot about his game, improve a lot about his game. What's better now than you saw from him?
He's a stronger player physically. He's not as light. He's heavier than he was a year ago. I think that helps him. He's a more confident shooter than he was a year ago. I think he feels really good about his confidence level offensively. Scoring the ball at all three levels, he can do that for us. So he's a guy that can make plays for us. So I think he's more confident, and he understands what we're looking for. He's I hate to say a veteran. He's only a sophomore, but he's a veteran guy for us. He's a second-year player under our group, and like I said before, he talks, he communicates. He's about the right things every day. He practices really hard every day. So I think he's being as consistent as he can be, and he's going to have. He's going to have a big role on this team, and he's got to continue to just kind of evolve and work at it. But he's doing really good for us right now.
I was going to ask you about Al shooting-wise too. Just you talk about him being maybe more confident, but mechanically, is there anything different to his shot? Because it seemed like maybe in high school he had just hard to repeat form a little bit. I don't know if it was just like getting up underneath the ball or just leaning a little bit. Does he change anything just in his shot?
I don't think he changed anything. He's got obviously a year under his belt. He's had an off season in our program where we take a lot of shots in the off season in the summer. He's got a lot of repetitions under his belt, and he's a good shooter. He was a good shooter coming in, who as a freshman went through a normal freshman up and downs, and had a streak there where he wasn't shooting the ball real well, but he's much improved in shooting. I think it's a repetition thing with him. He's stronger again. I think he has confidence in himself. He's worked really hard on his game. He loves the game. So he's a self-made kind of guy. He works at it hard, and like I said, we're kind of pleased where he's at with us right now, and hopefully he has some more big moments.
For yourself, this is kind of the second year of you go through this segment where got a couple conference games, non-conference, then back to conference. Anything, from a coaching perspective that you've learned from last year to apply to this year that maybe you go back on, like, I wish I'd done this different last year that you may plan to do going forward?
Well, I mean, it really starts with the ACC Big Ten Challenge. For us, it's been Duke back-to-back years, and then you jump right into conference. And I think when you jump into conference play, I think as you've seen, every Big Ten team in general played too. You watch the games. I mean, they are really highly contested, seriously fought games that I think both teams, now that they've gotten through that awkwardness, like why are we playing an early season Big Ten game? I think this year every squad kind of knew coming out of the challenge, like this is a serious week of opportunities for the league. It's a serious week for every team. And I thought our guys really approached the games very serious. It felt like a February week, and now you come back out of it, and whether it's good or bad, you're looking Louisville straight down the barrel. So there's not a whole lot of let up. We always know at the end of November through December for most our season, in particular all of the Big Ten teams, it's about a 5-game gauntlet where every team in our league is going through a serious stretch of games that mean a lot. And for us, Louisville's a very important game because it's the next one up. It's at home, and it's a great marquee non-conference game for both programs. But for us, it doesn't approach. I think the intensity level of last week will prepare us to play at the intensity level that it's going to need to be played at, which, like I told our guys, this game's going to require a lot more than we've been doing. It's going to require a lot more physicality. It's going to require a lot more attention to detail, a lot less mistakes, cleaning some things up, because this is in my opinion, just watching, this may be one of the best teams we play.
Okay, last question.
Seems like you put a lot of trust in Rob early in his career here. What has he done to kind of earn that trust from you, and what does he need to do to kind of continue to evolve and play with the ball in his hands even more?
Well, Rob's done a good job. He's a freshman that's playing a lot of minutes. It's going through high-intensity games. It's not like he's getting cupcakes out there every day. I mean, he's going against seniors. He's going against good systems. He's going against really good players. And, he's taking advantage of the opportunity. Some early season injuries have thrust him into a big role. I don't think he's done anything to, sort of pull back off that. He was tremendous at Penn State in that last 8 minutes. We really needed some guys to step up and make some plays, and he did, that last 7 points or whatever he got for our team. He was terrific at the end, and just trying to get Rob to be a lot more aggressive. Don't play it as safe. I think sometimes when you play it a little bit safe, the ball sticks a little bit, and I think we're trying to get Rob in particular to move the ball, make guys better when he attacks the paint. Obviously, that's his best ability at north-south, and he's a really good shooter that, to be honest with you, hasn't gotten a lot of clean looks here of late. I'm hoping that he can continue to be a guy from behind the three-point line that we count on, because he's a good shooter as well. But Rob's done a nice job through 9 games in his college career against the schedule that we've played and the minutes that he's handled. He's done a good job on both ends of the floor for us.
All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.